Hey everyone, Duke here, and today we're going over this week's Master Challenge, Varied Geometry. The two main changes on Master for this encounter, other than being at least 20 power underleveled with Arc and Solar Surges active, is that all of the Ogres will be unstoppables for the inside aka solo players, and all of the Knights in the encounter will have Arc shields. Xenophage and a Rocket Sidearm are going to work wonders for this encounter in terms of both stunning the unstops and being able to also kill them, while also being able to take the Knights down quick. If you do have Indebted Kindness, I'd recommend it just for breaking the arc shields faster, and again, you do get the surge benefit, but any Rocket Sidearm will do. As for the challenge itself, the requirement is that you must use all 6 possible 3D shapes as locks and keys before using one a second time. In other words, you can do the first and third rounds exactly the same as normal, but the second round you're going to need to make a cube, sphere, and pyramid as both the locks and the keys in order to get out of the rooms and complete the challenge successfully. I spent a good amount of time optimizing this second round to be as consistent as possible, so let's go over all of the possibilities. For the inside team, you don't have to do anything differently until the very end. You'll still double up on your own symbol as normal and then give out one of each of your shapes to the other 2 statues. The final move will be dictated by the dissector. This allows for the dissection to be as streamlined as possible no matter the starting rotation of symbols. There will be 3 possible situations for the dissector: 0 double shapes, 1 double shape, or 3 double shapes. We're going to go ahead and use the Verity simulator tool to go over each of these 3 possibilities because it makes showing it so much easier, and I really do love this tool, and I will again link it in the description as I have in my last couple videos. Going ahead and starting with the 0 double shape strat, if you notice that again, none of the statues that you start with have any double shapes in them, you're just going to dunk the callouts. So here we have square, triangle, and circle. We would just dunk square, triangle, and circle. And at this point, you just need to dunk the opposite shape that you just dunked in the other matching 3D shape, because you're always going to have one double shape at this point, and you're going to have 2 shapes that are the same, right? So in this case, we have 2 cylinders, and all you got to do is, since we just dunked the circle, we just got to dunk the opposite of the circle in terms of what's actually in this shape for cylinder, so that's circle and square. Square is the opposite of circle in that case, so we would dunk it in the matching cylinder shape in the middle. Going over one more example there, again, we dunk the callouts here: square, circle, triangle, and then because prism is made of triangle and square, we would do the opposite of triangle in the other prism. For the 1 double shape strat, we're going to go ahead and find and start at the double shape. So in this example, that is cube, and we're going to go ahead and dunk a square there. At this point, you can pick either of the other 2, because again, they're going to be the same. So in this case, let's just go ahead and do the left side, and you're going to dunk both of the symbols in that side. So cone is made of circle and triangle, so we'll go ahead and put a circle there, and then we'll put a triangle there. Your next step is going to be wherever that original double shape was, you're just dunking that same original symbol. So again, this was a cube in the middle originally, so we just dunk a square there. And now you've basically moved the cube to the left side, and at this point you just have to determine what's quote-unquote wrong, kind of as if you were doing a normal dissect, because we still do have the rule that the 3D shapes cannot be in their callouts, right? So like, for example, here we're looking at this triangle on the right side, and this right side cannot be pyramid because that would end up having 2 triangles in it. You can't have any triangles in it. So we know the triangle has to go here so that we can get it out of here, and then we'll put the, again, opposite shape in the other cone to swap it out and get the 3D shapes in the right spots. Now, funnily enough, the 3 double shape strat is almost a combination of the first 2. So the first thing you'll need to do with the 3 double shape strat is just dunk the callouts again. So here we would just do triangle, square, and circle. And at this point, you'll basically be at the 1 double shape strat, except already having your first dunk in the double shape. So again, pick either of the other 2 that are exactly the same and dunk both shapes in there. So we'll go ahead and just do square and triangle here. Then remembering that your double shape was on the right circle, and you're going to go ahead and put a circle there. And at that point, you've moved the sphere to wherever you did the 2 dunks. And here you just got to figure out, again, what's wrong. So prism has triangle and square in it. This left side has the triangle callout, so it cannot have triangle on left. And you'd put the opposite shape in the other prism. Do note that this is the only combination in any form of dissecting that you will need to do 4 swaps instead of a max of 3. So it does take a little bit longer than maybe it used to, but on the bright side, assuming you don't kill that last knight on the 4th swap, you can still get away with only having to kill 2 sets of unstops doing it in this method. Once this dissect is done, you can go ahead and call out to the inside team what the finished dissects are so that they can make their final swap. So this is just a quick little paint drawing that I made to kind of show this. And this stuff on the bottom, the pyramid, cube, sphere, is the example callouts for the end, right? The dissect was done, and this is what it ended up as. So all you're going to need to do, and again, the top here is just showing what their quote normal finished key is. So if the square player would normally have triangle circle, and that's what we're going to get to first. The circle player gets triangle square, and the triangle player gets square circle. So the inside is literally exactly the same. And then once they get the call out, whether they get the call, if they get to this point, they can just wait until they get the call out. If they haven't gotten to this point and then get the call out first, then you can make this swap, after you get to this point. But all you're going to need to do is basically make these shapes. So the square player already has one of their triangles for pyramid. So all they're going to need is the other triangle from circle. So basically you're sending any triangles to the left side. The cube, we need to get the two squares in the middle. Again, the circle player already has one of their squares. So we would go ahead and the triangle player would send their one square to middle to make the cube. And then the sphere is on right. The triangle player already has one of their circles. So the square player would just need to go ahead and send their one circle, that's the wrong blue, but we'll have to go with it, over to right. So it's just one swap for each person, making the 3D shape on each side, and then they're going to be able to grab their two symbols and come out as normal. There also seems to be a little bit of a deeper hidden mechanic that we ran into when testing this challenge, which a lot of people think that you cannot use any piece of the key that you start with in order to get out of the inside rooms with, which is true. However, it seems to potentially actually be a little bit deeper than that, and that it's that you actually have to have one piece of your key from each of the other players in order to come out, which technically includes that position where, if you had one piece of your own key that you started with, you wouldn't have one piece of the key from the other two players. But we try to do this in a way where basically everybody just doubled up and then passed both symbols over to the next player, or whatever player needed those two symbols, and that did not work. It was not allowing us to get out of the rooms by doing that. So by doing it this way, you're always getting one of your symbols from the doubled up player in the round before, and then you're going to get the other symbol from the other player in this final swap round. So it just ends up working out that way, where you end up getting one piece of your key from each of the other two players. So this is a little bit of like a guesstimation, or just a prediction or thought on why that may have not worked with the other strategy and does work with this strategy. But it's just something to think about, and definitely a reason to run it specifically this way than any other possible permutation that you may come up with. And if you get past the second round, again, the third round, you just go back to the normal strategy that you're going to be using in the first and the third round that you do for this encounter every single time, in terms of getting the two opposite of your shape as both the lock and the key. If anyone needs any help on dissecting for that, we went over dissecting for like the second round challenge part of this, but if you need help just the normal dissecting, I have a really, really easy video that I can link in the description for that part of the dissect as well, so check that out. And assuming you can make it through the third round, you will be done with the encounter and done with the challenge. I hope this video helped you complete this challenge. I do plan on doing some challenge helps now that they finally fixed the Master Challenge triumphs. I do plan on doing Master Challenge helps on my stream this week, and probably also next week, especially with all of them being available. So if you're interested in that, come on by. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.